Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We are going to start off by singing Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. It's number 126 in the gray hymnal. If you want to follow the music, the words will also be on the screen. Please rise in body and spirit. We gather this morning seeking inspiration, seeking that larger vision of love that binds us together, that carries us through and moves us toward the more beloved world that we hope to create together. Welcome to the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara this morning. Welcome into this loving community of seekers where we strive to live with integrity, nurture wonder, and inspire the actions that transform us and transform the world. I'm the Reverend Julia Hamilton. My pronouns are she, her. I am joined this morning by our worship associate, Justine Sutton, by Matthew Grissett and our chancel choir, by Charlotte Brigante, our director of Lifespan Religious Exploration, by Heather Levin on the piano, by John up in the booth, by all of you who have chosen to be here this morning to nurture your spirit together. Whether you're here in our physical sanctuary or joining us in our online sanctuary, it is good to be together. It is good to be reminded of what is possible when we lean into love together. Welcome. If you're joining us for the first time, or maybe you've been here for a couple times and want to know more about us, please stop by the welcome table, fill out a connection card, click the visitor link if you've been joining us online and want to keep connected so that we can let you know about all the ways to be a part of this vibrant community, because there is a lot going on here even beyond Sunday mornings. And I invite you this spring to go ahead and try something new, to get involved in a group or an activity that inspires you as we grow our power together in this place. Today, we have some very exciting and special things going on. The most obvious right now is that at the end of service, we will be doing something a little different. Instead of leaving immediately after singing Call Out a Blessing, we are going to stay right here for a very special congregational meeting. And this meeting is the result of our relationship with Carolyn Bjerke, who is our ministerial intern, who came into formation as a minister in our faith here in this congregation. And now she has asked this congregation to be her ordaining body, the congregation that is sort of the final step in the process of becoming a Unitarian Universalist minister. And today we will hold that vote to approve her ordination and save the date for May 31st, which is when we are planning the celebration. So after the service, stay right here. Even if you're not a member of the congregation, you're welcome to stay and celebrate with us. And then we get to eat together. Even better. So we're going to move out to our potluck out in the courtyard, and anyone who can stick around to help clean up, I know that would be appreciated as well. During the potluck, you'll have one last opportunity to participate in the raffle for the beautiful traditional Hopi pottery made by Di Satella that supports the work of our service trip at the end of the month. And we will be drawing the winner for the raffle and the silent auction, announcing the silent auction items during the potluck as well. Now, if that's not enough, just on this one very day, we have some exciting events coming up to look forward to. And the first is our annual Fashion Fling. Go ahead, our two Fashion Fling mavens here, Tammy Shorb and Sarah Davis. This is a great time to do spring cleaning of your closet. Drop off your gently used clothes here at the congregation, and next weekend you'll have an opportunity to find some great treasures to spruce up your wardrobe for the spring right here. So find out more about the Flash and Fling, talk to Tammy or Sarah. And finally, in the turning of the seasons, we are also going to be welcoming our Passover Seder back, and Nancy Beiser is going to share a little bit about that.
Spring is sure busy this year with so many holidays and so much going on, and one of the joys is when Passover overlaps with Easter. So we are having our annual Passover Seder, which is in the Jewish tradition and is relevant to our Unitarian roots, celebrating freedom from slavery and justice for all. And come and enjoy some wine and a meal, and join us for this fun, serious, and interesting celebration with dinner included. Thank you, Charla. It is April 4th from 5 to 7 p.m., and you can bring a dish to share, or you can pay for tickets, one or the other. So I'll be at the table in the garden.
And there will be an online link in your Friday email so that you can RSVP so we know how many places to set at the table. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you to everyone who helps bring this beloved tradition to life each year here at the Unitarian Society. I invite you now to take a breath, to settle yourself wherever you are, to allow yourself to be fully present to this moment and this community as we ring our bell and let the sound connect us.
Thank you. Our chalice lighting words today are by Yvonne Aburo, pronouns they, them. Day and night are equal now, but day has the upper hand. In the endless dance of dark and light and the turning of the wheel of the year, a moment's pause at the equinox to reflect on the glory of the dance. As we light our chalice flame, it recalls the fire of the sun dancing on the hills.
We do have one more flame to kindle this morning, and that is our candle of memory for Sue Fisher. Sue is a beloved member of this congregation who died this past week, approaching her 90th birthday. She was a brilliant writer, has a beloved family who are also members of this congregation, and we hold them in our hearts during this time of loss and grief. And we kindle our flame this morning for Sue and for all of those who have made their home here with us for a time and on whose shoulders we rest. Sue authored 8 books in her lifetime, and I am happy to share that some of her books are finding a home here in our library and will soon be open to all. So thank you, Sue, for all the contributions you have made to this community and to the world. Blessings on your journey. Every week here at the Unitarian Society, as we gather, sometimes with heavy hearts, carrying with us the weight of the world, we gather to be reminded that there is more than just that weight. There are also joys that arise. There are people working for love and justice. There is beauty to be found all around. And we hold all of that here in this community. And so I invite you this morning to think of something that brought joy into your life this week, some place you noticed beauty springing up, some place that gave you hope, and share it with each other in conversation at coffee hour, online, throughout the week. And I want to lift up something that has been bringing joy to me this week and to our whole staff here, and hopefully soon to the whole congregation. And that is, you might notice that out in the courtyard, we're working on restoring water to our fountain. It uses just a tiny bit of water, but many, many years ago during the deep drought, we had to turn off all of the fountains in the city, including our own. We put ornamental rocks in there for a while, but the time has come. We are working on repainting and restoring that fountain to all of its splashing glory. And one of the things that I love about this work is not only is it beautiful for us, but we have already had a couple of ducks investigating our courtyard from across the way. And in years past, we have been home to nesting mallards who found it a little too chaotic over in the big pond and found a sanctuary here, which reminds us that we aspire to be a sanctuary for all beings who want to make their home here at the Unitarian Society, and that is a good thing. I invite us now to take a moment, just a brief moment, to turn and say hello and greet the person next to you, and then we will sing again. Our choir gathers to lead us in song. I hope you'll continue these conversations at the potluck after the service. We are going to be rising in song once again to sing number 317, We Are Not Our Own. Please rise in body and spirit. Our time for all ages this morning has a little something special. So if the kids want to come on up and bring with them this little fish that you got in your order of service or handed out from the ushers. And if you don't have one of these little fish, if you raise your hand, I think the ushers can pass them out. So if you need one of these, and Charla has some extras up here. So anybody need a fish? Let's see, these little fish. Okay. Sally's got some extras here. Come on up, and you can sit or stand, whatever you're comfortable. You can join me on the steps here. Now, this fish says that it's a fortune teller, a miracle fish. A miracle fish. Goodness, that's a bold claim, isn't it? Now, if you open it up, you'll see that there's this little red fish, kind of clear, and what you want to do is hold your hand out flat. Justine, can you help me show? And put the fish in your hand. Oh, and see what happens. It flips around. It folds right up. It doesn't lay there still like it should. It wiggles around. Why do we think that's happening? Any guesses? Any guesses about how this works? The fish just wants to move. Maybe there's something intrinsic in our little fish that just want to wiggle in this world, right? I can identify with wanting to wiggle sometimes. Now, on that little package it came in, it says it tells your fortune, that how it moves says something about what's going on inside of you. And I feel like maybe there's something else going on with this fish that makes it move. Any other guesses as to what makes the fish move? Heat. That's a good guess, right? Sometimes fire transforms things and makes things move. Any other ideas? Static electricity, right? You've ever done that experiment where you rub a balloon and you hold it to your hair and your hair stands on end? Static electricity helps things move in the world. Any other guesses about what makes this fish wiggle? It's actually alive. Maybe there's something we don't see going on here. Well, that is true. There is something we don't see going on inside this fish. And static electricity and heat are all good guesses. And if we were in a laboratory, we could maybe devise an experiment. But I looked it up to find out what was going on with this fish. And this fish is actually made out of, this thin film has something in it called sodium polyacrylate, a super absorbent polymer that absorbs hundreds of times its weight in water. Human beings are mostly water, aren't we? Have you heard that we're mostly water? And how does that water come out on our skin? Sweat. And the palms of our hands have a lot of sweat glands in them, and so when you put the fish on your palm, it responds to the water in your hand. All those super absorbent polymers grab onto water molecules and change the shape of the fish, but only on the side that's touching your hand, which is what makes it curl up. And that is the miracle of this miracle fish, right? There are things going on around us at a very tiny level that we can't even see until we come into contact with them. And that is our miracle for this morning. You can take and keep these miracle fish. You can play with them as much as you want. And we're going to be talking more about fish throughout the service this morning. And I'm so glad we could spend this time together. Let us sing you to your classes and take it with you.
Good morning. So as you probably know, I'm Justine, your friendly neighborhood pagan. And here we are coming up to spring equinox. the time of balance halfway between the dark of winter solstice and the light at summer solstice. On the pagan wheel of the year, it's Ostara. Yes, the name has its origin in common with Easter. And it's the midpoint of spring, a time to plant, enjoy the longer days, maybe they're warmer, depending on where you are. We've had some warm weather, some unseasonable, beautiful spring weather. I think of people in other parts of the country and what they would give to be here in our sunny, beautiful weather. So Friday, this coming Friday, March 20th, at 7:46 a.m. is the exact moment of the equinox, this moment of balance, this divine moment that reminds us to stop sometimes and pay attention to the earth and what she's telling us. I have some words on spring equinox now by Mahara Thomas. We call to our awakening. Feel the returning sun shine in our hearts. Listen as songbirds sing the earth awake. Look with newfound clarity conceived in winter's cave. As rivers and streams rush high, we wash away the debris gathered on our banks. Open the blinds, shake out the carpets, dust out the cobwebs. The thaw has come. In the spring, we burst through old shells. We replace resistance with the determination of the dandelion growing through a crack in the concrete. The old melts away with the snow. New ideas, like delicate sprouts, need attention and protection. As we set intentions, we delicately hold in our hands both our needs and those of our human family. Our hearts are budding branches as we tend to all life. Turn the earth and prepare the garden bed for whatever work you grow. Wait for the divine moment to plant your seeds. We cannot hasten our gardens or our growth. Surrender to earth's wisdom. Stand in balance at the equinox between open anticipation and reverent patience. Open anticipation and reverent patience. I've had an embodied experience lately with balance, as some of you know. My mobility recovery has been slower than I'd hoped. Then in the fall, I had a setback when my balance suddenly became wonky. Yes, that's a formal medical term. I mainly lose my balance to the back. It's scary to feel like you might fall backwards. So I've been less steady on my feet, less confident in getting out and walking. Just walking on a little uneven ground is a challenge. All those little muscles in feet and legs adjusting with every step in conjunction with gravity to keep me balanced, keep me upright as I move through those tiny changes in elevation. Dancing is something I've always loved and did for many years, studying, performing, teaching. In the 90s, I was a regular at Dance Away, right here in Parish Hall every Friday night. A big reason I want my full mobility back is to be able to dance again. When I heard Catherine Callahan was hosting a dance party for those of us who use mobility devices or otherwise find it challenging to dance these days, it was on my calendar so fast your head would spin. So in Parish Hall on a Wednesday afternoon, we gathered to the beat of some lively music, and it was joyful to be with others, moving to the rhythm in whatever way worked for us. Some on their feet, me mostly in a chair. It felt like a preview of what I firmly hold as the vision of my future back on the dance floor. I remember the feeling of balance when I dance. Weight shifting, feet feeling the pull of gravity, keeping me grounded on the earth while feeling like I'm floating in the air. It makes me think of the line in the song, "Roots keep me close, wings set me free." Feels very much like that. In my dream, there's an earthquake, shaking and rolling, and I'm standing strong, flexible, maintaining my balance as I feel the earth move under my feet. There's some open anticipation for you. I'm working on the reverent patience. Balance with the earth, balance with the world, like we did in our dance party, finding the way that works for us. Balance our best intentions with our abilities and our resources. As Masada said, as we set intentions, we delicately hold in our hands both our needs and those of our human family. I may have the best of intentions, but there's no sense in planning for a big vegetable garden when the space I have is an apartment balcony. It's unrealistic to think I can prepare hot meals for every unhoused person I encounter. But with the determination of that dandelion growing through a crack in the concrete, we can help in the ways that work for us. Maybe that means gathering with others to share a large garden plot or to prepare food for those in need. Maybe it means getting some potted plants for your balcony and keeping a stash of energy bars and bottles of water in your car. We can find ways that work for us to honor our best intentions. While our acts are small in the grand scheme of things, the intentions we put out into the world with these acts, our best intentions, may be of the greatest value as we surrender to Earth's wisdom and stand in balance between open anticipation and reverent patience. Blessed be.
Now to stay right where you are as Matthew leads us in the chant for the seasons. We are going to be singing the third verse, the verse of spring.
Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Sharp the smell of love, bursting in our eyes, the turrets of the tulip. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us. Glory in the grass, soft upon our brows, the sunlight, warm caresses. Winter rains have turned the star wheel, springtime is upon us.
I invite us now to settle ourselves into a time of prayer and reflection, meditation and centering. And we begin, as we do each week, by acknowledging our monarch branch here in our sanctuary. Each butterfly on this branch represents someone who was abducted from our community by ICE over this past year. And this week, we add 13 butterflies and ring our bell 13 times to remember the people abducted from Santa Barbara County just recently. We are one human family, and we commit to bearing witness until this violence against our neighbors ends. As we enter into this time of reflection and prayer and meditation, I've been reflecting a lot with some of the members of the board and others about what it means for us to be a sanctuary. What does it mean for us to be a place of safety, a place that makes room for the tender healing of the human heart and the healing of our world? Work that can only be done in places like this that hold us and carry us through in safety. We talk about the physical safety of the building. We just did an usher training with our ushers to talk about emergency procedures. And we talk about the safety of the spirit, places where we can rest and unfold after putting on our armor out in the world, in gatherings small and large, places that allow us to feel seen and safe in community. And so this morning, let us lift up our prayers for safety. Safety for all those in houses of worship each and every week who gather to try to do this work of hope and healing. May they be safe. May they be protected from the hate out in the world that seeks to break down the walls and enter in with ill intent. May all those who gather in houses of worship find safety. We pray for safety for our children and the children of the world in their schools and homes and playgrounds, knowing that each and every child deserves a safe place to grow and learn, a safe place to be held when they skin their knees or have nightmares, a safe place to explore their curiosity and the bright spark of their wonder. This morning we gather to pray for the safety of our children, who are all our children. We pray for the safety of being able to be who we are, to unfold in our unique and beautiful ways without fear of being targeted because of our identities that we carry with us in our bodies, without fear of being targeted for our gender or gender expressions, without fear of being targeted for our country of origin or our ethnicity or our faith, or any other part of us that should be held with reverence and care. We pray for the safety of all to be able to be who they are in this world together. May all people have places of safety and healing, sanctuaries for the body and soul. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Let us enter into a time of quiet. Every week, as we gather our offertory here at the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, we give away a portion of what we gather to support the projects and programs that live our values in the world. And this month, we are supporting a beloved program here at the congregation called Our Hunt for Justice. This is where we invite our kids and youth in our RE programs to think about their values and what organizations are out there living those values. The money we raise here in the congregation is then given to our kids to distribute according to the way they see the world. And on Easter morning, when we gather for our egg hunt, they will use those eggs that they collect then to vote on the places that they want to give away the funds that we raise this month. So please support this hunt for justice, the way we engage our whole multi-generational community in the work of generosity and building a beloved community. And please read with me the affirmation of gratitude and giving. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have privilege. And let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are shaped by their giving. And let us be grateful, even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Thank you, Matthew and choir, for the beautiful music this morning. Good morning. Starting in this month of March, in the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands, thousands of fish will begin to make their way toward their spawning ground through the canals that run through the heart of that city. More than a dozen different species of fish run through these canals, and some of them go all the way to Germany to spawn. But there is one big problem, or at least a big problem if you're a relatively little fish, and that is that in the middle of the downtown there is a lock on the canal, a big underwater gate that can be opened and closed to adjust the water level, to help the canal boats as they travel through. A great invention for humans, not so great for the fish. The lock is manually operated by a worker in a little booth who goes out to turn a big wheel to let the boats go through, and I have a picture of that worker and that wheel and that canal. So what about the fish? It used to be that the fish would get stuck at the gate, and more fish would arrive, stuck until a boat happened to come through, until there were so many fish perhaps that the lock keeper would notice them and would go out to open the gate for them. And in the spring, during spawning season, it can become quite the fish traffic jam. So imagine yourself on the 101 South, going through Montecito, you know, where you get funneled into that construction zone with the concrete barriers right on either side. Now imagine if you had to wait for someone to show up and lower a gate before you could get through. And now imagine there were giant birds of prey circling overhead, picking off motorists as they gathered in that pinch point. In the canal, the fish traffic at the lock not only made them easy prey for birds, but also the larger predatory fish learned they could hang around and pick off the littler ones as they arrived. The whole scene was very stressful for the fish, who just wanted to find a nice place to lay their eggs. So several years ago, some of the people in Utrecht invented a fish doorbell. Now, the Dutch have many remarkable things, but they have not added hands to fish nor trained fish to ring a doorbell. They have trained people to do it for the fish instead. They installed an underwater camera and set up a web stream with a live view of underwater in the canal so that anyone, anywhere in the world, can log on and wait for the fish to arrive at the lock. And when someone sees a fish, they click on that doorbell button on the live stream. And here are some pictures of some of the fish that they have seen over the recent past. And when enough people click on that doorbell, it alerts the lock keeper, who then goes out and turns that big wheel and lets the fish through. And while you're watching, there's a little count on the bottom of the screen that tells you how many other people are watching at the exact same time. Often hundreds, sometimes thousands. And for that moment, you become part of the fish doorbell community. And I learned this morning that Blaze is part of our fish doorbell community here in this congregation. How many of others of you maybe have been part of the fish doorbell community? Just Blaze and I? Well, now you have an opportunity to join in the fun. And here is right now, this very moment, what it looks like under the water in the canal in Utrecht. It's getting dark there right now. It's 8 hours ahead, so I don't know if we'll see much. The busiest times for fish are at dawn and dusk, and the doorbell is active from March through May, with the busiest month being April. So we're just heading into fish doorbell season if you want to take part. And in 2025, 2.7 million people viewed fish through the fish doorbell website, or hoped to view fish through the fish doorbell. So aside from the fact that this is just undeniably cool, why am I telling you a fish story this morning of the equinox? The spring equinox, like the other seasonal observances in the wheel of the year, invites us to think about the cycles of the natural world and how we humans, as part of that natural world, live in relationship to all that is around us. The equinox in particular brings up the question of balance. As the day and night come into balance this Friday and our hemisphere begins once again to tilt toward the sun, I find myself wondering, what does it mean right now, in this age of global warming and climate change, what does it mean to live in balance with the world? Is it even possible anymore? And then I thought of the fish doorbell and the hundreds of people right now who have this same little window open on their desktop or phone, just waiting for a fish to swim by in a canal possibly thousands of miles from where they are. I think of the millions of people who have gathered in something like a community, united by the perch and the pike and the bream, who are absolutely oblivious to our existence right now. And the interdependence of it all is beautiful. The restoration of balance between the needs of the fish and the needs of the humans who have been using this canal for transportation for generations. No profit motive in the fish doorbell, no product, nothing but a little dopamine, perhaps, that happiness hormone in the brain when a fish swims by and you get to press the little button that says, "Hey, there's a fish friend, open the gate." And feeling like part of something real, something that is happening right now in the world through the miracle of the unseen networks of wireless connections and computer code that lies behind all of this human-to-fish relationship. As always, it comes back to interdependence, doesn't it? The recognition that the fish and our future are necessary to one another, that we need to figure out a way to survive together. There's often a sense that to save the planet, or at least save the livability of the planet for us, we have to go backwards. We have to slow down. We have to rewind the clock. We have to return to something prior, to some version of our lives where we didn't muck it all up in the first place. This desire to live into an alternative timeline. There's this idea that nature was once something separate from technology, in some important way balanced, and that salvation for whatever this mess is that we're in is found in returning as much as we can to that pre-industrial place before we humans got ahead of ourselves, before we unleashed the powerful technologies that now threaten to destroy us. And there is truth to this, of course. We do indeed have to rewind some things, to stop doing some things. We have to stop burning these enormous amounts of fossil fuels if we want to get through this crisis point, through this lock in the canal. We do have to slow down our extraction of resources to find ways to curb the seemingly insatiable appetites of humanity, to acknowledge that there are, in fact, limits to how much we can consume before we throw everything irreversibly out of balance. But when the conversation focuses entirely on what we have to stop doing, I find myself thrown into despair. Not because I disagree with the diagnosis, but because I despair that we human beings do not have a good track record when it comes to self-restraint. This is not one of our strong suits as human beings. There are many things we are good at. It might be hard to believe in the moment, given global events, but we do have many fine qualities, we human beings. We, as a species, with lots of individual variation, of course, as a whole, we are collaborative and creative and loving and funny and brave. We are constantly learning and inventing and adapting. We move around, we migrate and mingle and create astonishing wonders of art and science and spirit. But when it comes to self-restraint, when it comes to holding back on our use of power once we have it, when it comes to willingly giving up things that bring us comfort, well, again, with notable exceptions, most people find it hard to let go. We are terrible at putting the genie back in the bottle, as the saying goes. So you can see why I might despair when I hear the message that the only way to heal the planet is by doing something that we humans have not historically been very good at. It's hard for me to have hope, to imagine a better and more balanced future, if that hope relies on us suddenly being very different than we ever have been in the past. So this year's equinox has got me asking, what does seeking balance look like without relying on humanity suddenly becoming uncharacteristically self-denying and ascetic? How do we have that vision for our future? What if we played to our strengths instead of our weaknesses? And this is where the fish doorbell comes in. We are a collaborative species, a creative species, and this is an example of how we collaborate, not just with one another, but with the world itself as it is, as a whole. The fish and the canals, the lock keeper and his big wheel, the internet, the possibility of relying on access to a global community to solve a local problem. It's the inverse of that phrase, think globally and act locally, isn't it? Here, the thinking was local, and the action, watching the fish ringing that doorbell, is global. It runs with the idea that we are built to be interdependent, that our instinct is to build community, even around something so simple as watching a fish on a camera. We will build a fan base around anything. Right? If we want to inspire people to work hard to pull out of this death spiral we seem so intent on chasing, we've got to lean into our strengths and use those capacities to enter into a creative collaboration with the world, a perspective that sees humans as part of an interdependent web rather than as consumers at the top of a hierarchy of resources. Not long ago, I was invited to an event hosted by the Sustainable Change Alliance, a group here in Santa Barbara that invests in local companies and initiatives that address social and environmental challenges. There were several folks from USSB there, and one of the speakers was a member of the congregation who is someone who works in material sciences, the basic building blocks of the world. The founder of a company that's working on a new form of plastic that is nearly infinitely recyclable. And I know I'm oversimplifying this. I'm a minister, not a materials scientist, but it's something like Legos, polymers, right? Those polymers that I talked about in the miracle fish this morning, those polymers that can be combined and recombined in all kinds of different ways, all kinds of variability over and over again, to stop producing the waste in plastic that threatens to overwhelm us. Like the folks in Utrecht, this is an example of thinking locally and acting globally, looking at the whole system of which we are a part. From the production in a lab in one place and manufacturing across the globe, to us here who consume products, we look at the whole system and figure out where we can get inside of it and change it and transform it. If we truly believe that we are part of something larger that is networked together, ecosystems within ecosystems, then we cannot give up the power to change those systems so easily. We cannot keep focusing on what we shouldn't do, but we have to add to that also what we can do, and we have to think boldly and brilliantly about what's possible. Global change is possible, but only if we work together and resist the illusion that we are separate from the whole. Creative collaboration with the world in this way, it's not just about a Mary Oliver poem or a Wendell Berry poem about reconnecting with nature, although I love that poetry, and I love lying where the wood drake is by the ponds. But it also means seeing the whole world as it is right now, all the beauty and all of the trash, and all of the human behaviors that hurt and help, all the interconnection, even the things we would rather not be interconnected with. It's lovely to be interconnected with the fish in the Utrecht canals. Not so lovely to see the thread that connects us to the fires consuming the oil machinery in Iran. In this war that is ultimately connected to our reliance on technologies that are destroying us. We must also look towards those ways we can reimagine what will connect us and help us thrive. Now, I want to make it clear at this point that while I don't idolize a pre-industrial world, I am not a techno-futurist either. Techno-futurism is this strain that says we can sit back and rely on those smart people somewhere in the future to solve the problems that we create today. Don't worry about carbon footprints. Don't worry about plastics, because those fabulous folks in the future will save us. We don't have to feel remorse or guilt about our unchecked consumption, because we have faith that technology will emerge to address it. Instead of placing their hope in rewinding to an imagined past, the techno-futurists place their hope in an unyet realized future. But what observing the equinox has reminded me as I wrestle with these hard questions, it reminds me that balance is right here. Balance, that point of dancing between the past and the future, between night and day, between the fish in the canal and the oil refineries on fire in Iran, that balance we will need to cultivate if we want to stay livable. That balance is created in the world right now, in the way we live in the present. Not just in the small actions we take every day to maintain our own integrity as part of this web, but in the way we cultivate our relationships and our imaginations, the way we understand humanity and work with these incredible gifts that we have, at the same time reckoning with and mitigating the selfishness and greed that is also always present among us. I've mentioned the word polymer twice on a Sunday morning, something that I never thought would be part of ministry. The miracle fish is made of polymers, the non-recyclable kind, for which I will admit I carry some guilt. But what I loved about that this morning, that little experiment that we held in the palm of our hand, is that it is an example of the wonder and joy with which we human beings approach life. There is no reason for that little fish to exist except that it makes us laugh, that it brings us a little happiness together. It's not really useful in any real way, but sometimes the inventions we create, they spark joy in unimaginable ways. The internet was not created to watch fish in the Netherlands. But here we are, doing just that. This opportunity for connection emerging from the world. And therein lies our hope and our challenge. As anyone who has ever ridden a bike knows, balance is a dynamic project. It only works when you are moving. It is not a fixed point, but a dance that moves in cycles and circles. We can't go back. We can't stand still. Moving forward into the future is the only option. But we do have what we need right now, in collaboration with the world, to see us through this moment, to get us through that lock, tilting toward the sun, growing again toward the light. It is possible, and we have what we need if we can imagine it together. Let us do that work. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Let us rise in song one more time to sing Rising Green. It's number 1068 in the Teal hymnal, one of my favorite hymns, and it is a joy to sing it together this morning. Rising Green.
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul, like the open sky, with stars forever. Our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day.
Go ahead and stay right where you are, and if you want to put your hand over your heart or hold hand with someone nearby if you have permission to do so, or hold your hands open wherever you are joining us. Get connected like that sap rising green in the world, love rising through this community and heading out into this beautiful and heartbreaking world. And as you go forth, may the light of love shine upon you, out from within you, be gracious unto you, and bring you peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And let us call out a blessing. So go ahead and stay put right where you are. Just have a seat. If you have to go, that's fine, but we hope you'll stay for just a few minutes as we begin our special congregational meeting. I'm going to invite Lorraine forward, our board president, to gavel us into this special time. And I just want to remind folks, that if you haven't had a chance to meet Carolyn while she was here, she is going to be in the pulpit on the 29th of this month, in a couple Sundays from now. I'm delighted to have her back here with us, so it'll be an opportunity to reconnect with her or meet her, say hello, and perhaps celebrate together. So we've got a table up here. If anyone has not filled out a vote, either online or beforehand, we do have a few paper ballots. Lorraine, I'm going to go ahead and have you officially call this congregational meeting to order.
Thank you. So as Julia said, I'm here to announce the results of the vote to approve Carolyn Bierke to be ordained. And I will wait for Aaron to bring me the...
Go ahead. Hey, Matthew, maybe you can play
Okay.
some voting music.
And Julia said that I was going to gavel the meeting in, and I was trying to figure out where to gavel in this historic structure without breaking something, so I figured that would do it. And we know that we have exceeded our quorum, so that's a good thing. Oh, thank you. Perfect. I am happy to announce that we received 155 votes, and this is not a surprise, but we got 155 approvals.
I asked Kira to record this so that we can send it to Carolyn with the news. So, Kira, you want to come up here and get a view of the congregation and just everybody say hello, Carolyn?
Hello, Carol. So, in one of those spurts of creativity and cooperation that Julie was talking about, Tim brought me a cajon. So the meeting is officially adjourned and we can go eat.
Live control. You guys can turn off the stream just as soon as he's done playing the piano. Okay, live control. Thank you very much for your help, and you can shut the stream down.